So, hi everyone, good day. Our today's webinar is about the UCC applet. The UCC stands for the Unified Contact Center. So the UCC applet basically used as a customer support applet. So using this applet, the customer support agents can perform various things. So we'll go through those details today. So here, if you open the UCC applet, then you'll see there are a lot of menus in the left-hand side. We have the task queue, outbound, inbox, outbound, quality, social media, dashboard, reports, profile, contacts, broadcast, live dashboard, task router, configuration settings, and personalization. So as you can see, there are a lot of menus. So we'll not go through each of the menus today. We'll cover the main things. The rest we'll discuss in our next session. So for today, let me explain you the basic things first. So first thing is the inbox. So in the inbox, here we have our tasks. So if you go to here, then you can see all of the channels and all of the incoming messages. So from here, the agent can initiate new conversations as well by clicking on this plus. Then you will be able to see all of the contact details, which is basically coming from the contacts table here. So we'll store all of the customer details, like if anytime from any contacts there's any conversation initiated, then those will store in here. So later agent can initiate contacts from this contact table. Here they can filter based on different channels as well, and there are some other filtrations as well. So if I open any of the conversation, let's say I open this one, then here I can have many conversation. Let's say I click on this conversation. Okay, so each conversation have incoming and like outgoing messages. So the incoming are the ones that sent by the end user, and the outgoings are the ones that replied by the customers. So here, once any conversation is initiated, then there will be a session started, and once the session is started, then the system will create a task. So let me explain the details a bit later. Let me show you what are the options that we have for each of the conversation. So if the user click on this arrow over here, then they can see some other menus that are available or the other tabs available for them. The first one is the personal info. Under the information, so here we have the details of the end user, like the first name, last name, the username, address, endpoint, or from which channel the conversation came, all those things. Then the task assignment is if there's any task created from this conversation and assigned to agent, then that one will be seen over here. Same goes for the preferred agents. The conversation history is, let's say this user initiated a previous conversation from any other channel, then we'll use contact merging to identify all of those conversations coming from the same user, and that one will be visible under the conversation history. Then next we have tag. So from here, agents can create different tag, and they can use these tags to categorize the conversation based on their necessity. So if you want to assign this conversation to any tag, then you can select new tags from here. Like if you create any tag, then that one will be available under here. For example, if I create a new tag, then the tag will appear in here, and then later this tag can be used to mark this conversation. Then the next thing is the predefined message. So in the predefined message, from the agent side, they can set some predefined message in order to uh, speed up the conversation. So these predefined messages can be something like welcome message, closing message, or let's say after customer making any purchase, any thank you message. Those can be set under the predefined message. And all those predefined messages can be configured from the configuration section. We have one section for the predefined message. So from here, predefined messages can be created, like the name of the message type, the description, the status, all those things. Okay, let me go back to the previous menu. Okay. After predefined message, here we have issue tracker. So let's say from this conversation, if there's any issue created, then those one can be tracked from here. So if you click on it, then you'll be able to see the details of the issue, like the planning issue category, whether there's any attachment with this issue, all those things. Then next we have shopping cart. So this shopping cart is associated with the shopping cart module. So if you want to create a new shopping cart for this user, then that one you can do so from here. So if on the main, you can select the branch, the location, the currency, the sales agent. The account is basically linked with our customer applet. It's getting from the same entity table. Then the line item is basically related to the doc item applet. Sorry. Yeah, here you see the items are appearing from our doc item applet. Then the delivery details, the settlement, you can create the settlements as well from here. Okay. Then after shopping cart, we have one menu, we have one tab for the transaction history. So from here, let's say this end user previously made any transaction, then those will appear under the transaction history, no matter whether it can be from Shopee, Lazada, or any other platform. Using the contact merging will merge all those under this single user, and you will show this under the transaction history in here. So for the transaction history, if you click, then the agents will be able to see the user's order details, the amount, the settlement, which item they purchased, all those things. After that, we have E-Invoice tab. So this E-Invoice tab was namely added once the E-Invoice has been regulated as mandatory requirements by the government. So under the E-Invoice, from here, the end user can, throughout the conversation, the end user can request for E-Invoice, and the agent can use this E-Invoice tab to issue the E-Invoice to the customer. For example, while doing the conversation, customer can ask for the E-Invoice, then the agent can ask for the transaction details, like what was your invoice number, the amount, the transaction date. Or instead of asking all these details, the agent can just simply ask for a simple snapshot of the receipt. Then the agent can fill these informations by themselves and issue the E-Invoice. So here we allow, following our point of sales, we issue by both date, amount, or by PIN. So this is similar with our customer portal. And then in the E-Invoice history, let's say from this end user, there were some previously requested E-Invoice which were issued successfully, then those will appear under the E-Invoice history. So if we click on it, then we can see the transaction details, like the customer tax ID and all those things. So instead of asking these details each time from the customer or from the end user, the agent can just use back this information to issue a new E-Invoice to the customer in case the end customer requests for it. Then here we have some other details as well, like the item, which item the end user was purchased. Then we have some other details, like which is related to the invoice, representing the status of the particular invoice, whether the document has been accepted by the IRB, which means the document is validated. Next, we have media library. So this one is linked with our media library applet. This one not much to use, so we can skip it. Then the product. So the product supposed to be linked with the doc item applet. This means like if let's say this conversation came from any marketplace platform like Shopee, Lazada. So in that case, if that particular store got any products, then that one will be appear under this product tab. With some product shareable link as well. So throughout the conversation or using the UCC, the agent will be able to share the product link to the customer. So this one is mostly used, let's say customer request for product A. For some reason, the product A is not available at the stock at this moment. So in that case, the agent can share the similar product link with the customer so that the customer can make the purchase. Then next we have contact merging. So for the contact merging, as you can see, for this same end user, the conversation came from different channels, from Messenger, Telegram, Lazada, or email. So using our contact merging algorithm, all these are identified as similar contact, meanings like although the messages came from different channels, but the conversation was initiated by the same user. Then here we have one menu for marketing. So under marketing, we have vouchers. So similarly, like the platforms, Shopee, Lazada platform, if you have any vouchers that created over the Shopee, Lazada marketplace using the seller center account, then using this sync voucher, you can sync those voucher over UCC, and from here you can share the voucher with your end users. So let's say if there's any user complaint coming for any failed delivery, or let's say any faulty product, then in order to calm down the customer, the agent can share those vouchers using the UCC as well. So they can either click on this to manually sync the voucher, or we have some processors which is running after some certain times of interval to automatically sync the vouchers. So this sync voucher is mainly applicable for the Shopee, Lazada platforms. The next thing we have agent handover. So this UCC module is connected with some chatbot feature as well. We have another applet called bot applet. So that one is also linked with this UCC. So using the agent handover, maybe let's say there's any conversation initiated by the customer from the web chat, so that one will be also appear under UCC. So let's say when initially the conversation was initiated by the customer, there were no agents available. They were busy handling other conversations. And later the customer waited for some time, then exited that without having any reply. So in that case, the agents can come to this menu, and then here they can use the bot to send some automated reply to the customer, which will be sent to them via email. So for that purpose, we use the agent handover in here. So that's mainly about the main tabs we have here for each of the conversation. So now let me give you some idea from the business logic, like what happens when there's any conversation or any new conversation coming. So initially, once any new conversation coming, then the system will initiate one session. And when a session is initiated, then here one task will be created as well. So each conversation can have many sessions and can have many tasks. So it's not necessarily that when each of the messages are coming, we create one session and one task. It's not like that. If in that scenario, we'll have a lot of sessions and a lot of tasks. So initially, when a message comes in, then we create one session and one task. And then let's say agents started replying, then let's say their shift is over, then they can end the session. So when they click on this end session, then the task is also closed as well. And when a new agent comes and replies in, then the new session and new task will be created. So in order to keep track of that, we have the task queue where we can see all of the tasks. So the task queue basically represent the open tasks. Like after opening any task, the agent can close as well. As I said, once they close the session, the task will be closed as well. So here mainly in the task queue, we show them the open task only. So each task in the open queue can be under a secondary queue, which we call like Instagram queue, default queue, all those things. or queue. So this queue is basically used to categorize the agent. Let's say each agent can be expertise in different channels. So based on that, the queue will be created and then the task can be inserted into that queue. So that's why we have the team tasks queue in here. And then we have the my task queue, which is basically representing the task assigned to any particular agents, whoever logged in here. So for now, I don't have any open tasks. So that's why my task queue don't have any records. So here, just to give some idea, if I go to the task router, we have router queue and the tasks. So these tasks basically displays a listing which uh, basically presents a history table. So here I can see all of the completed task, or if it's assigned to agent. So let's say I click any of the completed task, then I can see the event details, and if I click, then I can see more event details about any particular event. So this tasks basically represents as a history table, and the queue is basically represents the ongoing task or the task that's still open. So let's say uh, end user sends any message, we start a session and then we create a task. After that, some agents handle the conversation. And if the agent is already done with the conversation, he or she can end the session and the task will be ended as well. So when we initially create a task, that one will be appear under this task router queue. And when the task is marked as completed, then that one will be going into this history table. So that's about the conversation and the task and the relationship between those two. So other than this, today I would like to explore you guys a bit regarding the configuration. So under the configuration, we have some sub menus. The first one is the project. So from here we can create projects. So the projects can be created based on the campaigns or all those things. Let's say you want to initiate or launch any campaign. It can be CNY campaign, Hydra campaign, or whatever. So those can be created as a project. And once you create a project, then you can assign agents to handle the project. And under each project, you can have multiple agents. Then you can set the settlement link, the payment gateway, all those things. Then next is the virtual contact. So the virtual contact basically represents, can be like coming from the web chat or all those things. So here you can create your profile, then endpoint, whether you want to use WhatsApp, SMS, voice, email, or whatever. We also have the web chat public profile, the one that I just mentioned. Then we have teams. So we can create teams as well. Each team can contains multiple agents. So you can create the team and then you can set some address. And if you click on any existing team, then as I said, you can have multiple agents under each of the team, and each team can have specific skills set to them as well. Like for example, here we have multiple skills, and these skills you can create from this skill menu over here. Then we have agent. So this agent, like the customer support agents can be onboarded using this UCC. So for this part, our internal team will help during the initial agent onboarding. Then this one I previously mentioned regarding the predefined message. So the agents can set different predefined messages for a different activity. For example, welcome message, thank you message, any message after the purchase. So all those things can be set from here. Then we have QR code. So this QR code is basically attached with this QR code is basically attached with the parcel. So here you can select the routing of the QR, and then you can paste the virtual URL, the virtual username, all those things, then this keyword will be generated. So usually this keyword can be pasted over the parcel or over the product boxing. Then whenever the end user or the customer scans the keyword, then they can initiate some conversation with the agents to ask about anything product, like let's say any faulty product or any product inquiry or any issue with the delivery or anything they can contact. So this mainly used for the web chat feature. Then the outbound task, the automation rule, and these rules I'll explain in the next session. So the skills, as I said, here we can create many skills, and each skill can be linked with a team. So whenever any associated conversation coming which required that skill, then we can assign the team to handle that conversation. So that's a quick overview of the basic functionality of the UCC. We have some further details to cover, which we'll explain in the next session.